What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Nick Williams Show. My name is Nick Williams. I'm an independent filmmaker and producer north of Boston. And joining me today is, do you have a Steven or Steve? Steven Schloss. Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
How do you want to
me.
be introduced? Because I've heard you on other podcasts and other things say that you're a director and a cinematographer. Like, what do you want to be?
I consider myself a filmmaker.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. How long have you been making films?
So I don't really...
Including in the backyard with like your cousin or something.
Okay. Because I was going to say first time doing narrative stuff was like 2020.
Okay.
Making the other stuff, I don't really consider them films. I consider them like video projects.
Oh, we're going to argue. This is going to be so much fun.
Yeah. I don't know because I've
been looking forward to this, by the way.
Sure. Yeah, me too.
Good.
Me too. And I haven't watched any of the other material, so I don't even know like what you're going to hit me with in the best way.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay. I'm not going to hit you with anything. I might bring up...
Even if you were, it's fine.
No subjects off limits. If you have questions for me, you can ask me questions.
Cool.
I don't swear, do whatever you want. Try not to hit your head and run around naked.
Ceilings are pretty tall.
Yeah, you'll be all right. But yeah, no, I keep it somewhat light. I just want to learn more stuff. So you were how old? Why don't you consider them films? The BS stuff that you did.
Sure. I wasn't approaching them like films. I was just kind of running around capturing on the day. I was never in like pre-production to the extent that I've now been in pre-production and understand kind of what has to be done for things to come out a certain way. So like commercial projects, they're in and out. That's what I spent the first 10 years in the industry doing was shooting, directing commercials, mostly as like a combo, like a shooter director.
Really quick.
Yeah.
Alexis's last guest, I have her on 40 for mic 1. Can you turn it down to 35 if you don't mind? Because I scream and yell. And...
Oh, you know what's coming. You're getting ready.
Yeah, no, it's not a bit. I mean, I have a very aggressive and loud New England personality, but at the same time, like, it's all love.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll never yell at you. It's more like yelling to you. Like,
yeah, no, I get it. You have fluctuations in your
100%.
decibels.
Definitely. Italian background. Catholic. We talked about this.
Jewish, similar.
There it is.
Yeah, we get loud at the dinner table.
Yeah, I love it.
It's obnoxious.
Yeah, it is, but it's like I wouldn't
not
have
for
it
like
any other way.
not for the family, but I'll feel it when I bring like my fiance over. Like it won't be annoying to me, but I can feel like the annoyance coming from her.
Yeah,
and not like in like an annoyed way, but just like, oh my god, your family is like loud.
Like you feel physically tired when you leave.
Yes.
At the end of dinner.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's exhausting.
I love that.
Yeah.
Everything's a workout. That's fun.
Exactly.
Okay. So what was like? Why film?
Because I couldn't do anything else.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
but it's kind of artsy. Like it's kind of
definitely.
Are you like a techie guy or an artsy guy?
More of an artsy guy.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
so like I was big into the drums growing up, like big into percussion.
Okay.
Was playing around at some restaurants and stuff when I was like 8 years old. And then I got into band at Masco.
Like
and
marching band.
No, like band class. Like
okay.
A part of like the thing.
Yes.
And I was big into jazz and rock.
I love jazz.
Same.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I wasn't like tapping into it, so I lost interest in the instrument.
Okay.
Which sucks. Like I wish
the drums?
In the drums, yeah.
Okay.
And if I didn't live in a super small place, like I totally would pick it up and I would definitely have a kit. I just don't have the space right now to like pick it back up again, but I know it will come back in my life. But why film? So started with that. I knew I was like,
wait, so did you have Mr. Barry? Did you take?
I did have Mr. Barry, yeah.
Dude, okay, sorry. I feel like
you think Mr. Barry's watching?
Oh, maybe. Who knows? I'll send it to him. He'll be like, "Well, let me tell you." He'll go crazy. Go ahead. Mass media teacher at our high school. We went to high school together. We didn't even know it till just 5 minutes ago.
Hilarious.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where was I? Oh, band. Lost interest in band, and
Why?
then because it wasn't the same. I was standing around waiting for like 2 measures of something. I wasn't stimulated.
Not rock. Yeah.
I wasn't stimulated, and
fair.
it was boring music to me at the time. Mm-hmm. I appreciate it now.
Classical stuff.
Yeah. I appreciate it now, but it was boring to me at the time. So I kind of lost interest in it, and I got like big into video games and paintball. Like that was kind of like my craft, if you will, which is funny to say, but
no, it makes sense.
Growing up then, like video games weren't like accepted like they are now, like where there's actually like an avenue to make money with like e-games and shit. Like,
Right. Or like streaming.
I was just like burning time, you know?
The good old days.
But I found a great group of people, and you know, I couldn't find a group of people at Masco who I really connected with.
You don't say.
Who were kind of into craft.
Masco, but they're so inclusive.
Yeah, it was honestly,
Yeah.
I'm friends with like very little people from high school.
Yeah.
And I appreciate everybody.
Talked to like 2 of them.
Yeah, I appreciate same.
Yeah.
Exactly too. I appreciate everybody, but it's just like, oh my God, like
Yeah, there are some people who like I don't care if I ever see them again. At all.
like if I did see him again, I probably would like pretend I didn't see him.
Yeah. Oh, from Masco? Yeah, my God. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm good. So for me, I was like always horrible at school. The whole 20 plus to 1
Same.
thing.
I couldn't
just-
do structure.
So-
I couldn't do structure like
me
that.
either. Me either.
So bored.
From the time, like when I was like a little kid, like 2nd, 3rd grade, on my kindergarten report card, they wrote like loves his neighbor no matter where I put him in the class. Like that was my thing.
That's great.
And so it's funny because I was horrible. Like my grades were abysmal, but the teachers called me the mayor. Like I would walk around the hallways, like you do like a lap.
Yeah. That's through like the circle.
Yeah. And like the teachers would like, oh, there you are, Nick, come on in really quick, and talk like during the class. Or like
That's
they'd ask me,
great.
and that was just kind of my thing, was like being, friends with everybody and like internally hating everybody.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. That's cool. So when did you like swap over from video games and everything to film? And you went to film school. I know it's
Yeah, so I actually went to Bryant University for 2 years.
Oh, nice.
And I transferred to BU after the second year. I took a class. It was like video production. And it was a class that all the seniors took as the joke.
Yeah.
And I got like a camera in my hands, and it just like felt like so familiar.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. I don't know. I don't really know why. But
So you didn't make like little films and short
No.
things like when you were growing up?
No.
Ever?
I mean, like if there was a project, you know how like you got
Yeah.
to choose your like there were like 3 options.
Yeah.
Like you could make like a poster. You could,
Mine was always the movie.
of course, yeah. So
Yeah.
like for those, I would make a movie. I'd go hard, and I can't remember them. Like they weren't.
Okay.
What's
What's the first project you can remember? What was that like?
All right, so it was a part of. It was going to be a part of like the morning announcements.
Dude.
And it was something about making noise like in the hallway, and it was like a PSA. And in the making of this film, which involved like smashing a rack of just like coat hangers,
Yeah.
like walking by, like we just disrupted the piece. Like so much so that they were like, this isn't like, you can't be like doing this stuff. Like you can't be like making movies like this.
Yeah.
And so that was like the last movie I made like in a school, and it was the first one too.
That's funny.
I got attention.
Yeah.
And I was treating the craft. I was like, okay, this is about noise. Like we got to make some noise, you know?
So what did you go to Brian for?
Business.
Interesting.
Yeah, just like general business, and knew I wanted like, so business communication, you know, thought that was going to kind of do it for me. I didn't really see myself as like,
Did you know, and that's obviously, there's tons of kids out there who have no idea what they want to do. Kids in college. I know kids that are getting their masters right now that have no idea what they want to do when they grow up. But did you know that you wanted to do something, like what did you want to be? First grade teachers is like, hey,
I didn't
Steven,
know.
what do you want to be when you
I didn't
grow
know
up?
because I was so bad at school, and like it just wasn't. I was good enough to get
You
through.
knew you wanted to get the hell out of there.
I knew, yeah, exactly. I was good at doing that. Like once I was like, oh, I really like this thing. Like I need to pursue it. But up until that point, like in high school, I wasn't thinking about what I wanted to do. Like I was playing paintball and ripping video games, and
That's kind of dope though.
you know, it was like the start of Ventrilo. Do you remember Vent?
Not really, no.
It's like a communication platform. Like back in
okay.
the day, like in order to communicate with other players, like people across the country,
Before like Xbox Live,
before any of that stuff, you had to like use like a
third party, like a Discord.
exactly like Discord. Yeah.
Okay.
And so it was Vent, and then dude, I would just go home from school,
just nerd out.
just nerd out on Vent. Yeah.
Josh is probably pretty happy back there listening to the That's funny. Yeah. Back in the good old days. Yeah, I was like
Oh, but do you know what it made me do is because
Oh,
I was
go.
like seeing so many images, and like a lot of these things were like first person games that were like well crafted,
Like Call of Duty type stuff?
Yeah,
or
Call it
Halo,
exactly.
whatever?
Yeah, like Day of Defeat, Counter Strike. I was like big
Oh,
into Counter Strike
okay.
1.6,
Cool.
and then Source. Like they upped the graphics, and like I kind of almost like developed my visual library from that.
Interesting.
And you know how in a video game when you die, like you go into spectator mode. So whenever I was in spectator mode, I was always just like roaming around the map, and like
Okay.
finding things that looked good and framing and composing and just like
Interesting.
doing it without knowing I was doing it.
Right?
But
It's like in you.
Yeah, I was
You
like
can't control it.
exactly. And
That's funny.
they were always like I was always attracted to like violence. Like it had to be like for whatever reason I needed that like stim. Like I needed
Sure.
like I think
Someone to get
because
their head chopped off or whatever.
yeah, do you know what it was actually? I started playing like Resident Evil 2 when I was 10 years old.
Ooh.
Yeah, my mom let me get this game. I like convinced her to like let me get it.
Yeah.
And it was just so graphic and so violent. I was terrified of the game, but I was also like so attracted to it. And then after
Yeah.
that, like everything, like all of like the other games that like didn't have good blood and stuff, like I was like,
It's like,
like yeah, no, it's not like it's not doing the thing. So I was really attracted to like, which is I think represented in my filmmaking, like exaggerated, like I almost call it like video game violence. Like it should almost be funny.
So it's so funny because you say this, right? But the one film that I've seen of yours was no, what's not Shape of Money? What's it called? The one with the lawyer.
Oh yeah, that is Shape of Money. Yeah, that's
Shape of Money. It is. Yeah.
that's so unlike, which
you
was
see me,
fun.
I'm like, oh yeah, I love violence, and I'm like, what do you mean?
That's me.
Like,
That's me as a cinematographer though. Like
Sure,
me
true.
as a filmmaker.
Right.
And I think I definitely think I do better in the genre space. Like I think I like operating as a filmmaker.
Okay.
I like the other stuff. Like I like dramas, but
So like Kill Bill vibes, stuff like that.
yeah, just action, horror, like
Okay.
sci-fi, something where
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You
But
like
not
that? You like that
not a
subtle
huge-
judgment where I go,
but not
okay,
like-
good?
but not like a huge, like I'm not like a fan. I would say, like I'm not.
Oh no, but you've seen them.
I've seen them. I appreciate
and
them.
like if you had the option and they're the only two things in front of you, you're gonna grab Star Wars
right,
instead of Star
but
Trek.
I'm not going to Star Wars World at Disney World. Like I'm not
No,
like.
I mean, I'm not either. Yeah, no intention whatsoever.
I would go to a Jaws amusement park
That's
at
sick.
Universal
Jaws is cool.
if they had one. I
You
would
give Spielberg
go to that.
vibes, like young.
I get
Spielberg.
that so much. Yeah,
You do. It's not a bad thing.
I don't try.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
I
either.
think he's just like we're in the same tribe of Jew.
Ah,
And I think it's like there is like a tribe. Like I go to these festivals and like I see people like me. I'm like, dude, we're like, this is what we've been like created to do.
yeah,
You know?
that's great.
Like you know what I mean? How
The
they're
filmmaker Joe.
Yeah,
love
exactly.
that. That's
like,
fantastic.
I don't know. People say like stereotypes aren't real, but like
No,
they
they're-
totally
they're-
are. Yeah,
What are you talking about? That's like why they're stereotypes.
exactly.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I feel like that's like
No, own it, dude. If that's true, right? If like the stereotype sticks, then you'll be a billionaire someday. So you'll be fine.
I don't care about making money. Honestly, I just want to
No,
make
but
movies.
I don't think he did either. Like he wanted to make movies. You know what I
Sure.
mean? And look where he's at now. So
Sure,
you'll be
sure.
fine.
Yeah.
Congrats, you'll be good. Not that works for you. I don't know. Do you guys do that stuff like that? Do you like
What?
a star or something?
I don't even know.
Because we do the, you know.
Oh no, we don't do any of that shit.
that crap.
No.
Whatever.
No.
Head of
We
my
wear
church just
yarmulkes
died,
and
so yeah,
yeah.
a little. Yeah, that's funny.
That's about-
Oh
that's
my
our
God,
thing.
this is never gonna be allowed to go. This community is interesting. I wish we were able to have more fun. It's kind of where my conversation was going with you right before we started.
Do you know what it is?
recording.
Because you know him from Masco, you know the shit I've seen and heard.
My
that-
guard just like fell. To the
Exactly.
ground.
You're like,
I have
okay,
no-
we had the same childhood.
Yeah, 100%. Because you never like, I don't know. You don't know. Like you don't know these days. Everybody is so like, you know.
You don't want to say the wrong thing and offend somebody.
But that's like my whole life. Like that's
know.
me, is saying the wrong thing and offending people and then
Same.
laughing about it and making best friends with them.
Same. And it used to be fine, and now I'm like, and I never used to get embarrassed, and now I say things, I'm like, oh fuck, is that
Yeah.
like the right?
You're like, are you
Gender?
okay with that?
Yeah.
Why the fuck are we asking if people are okay with things? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, if they're not okay, that's a them problem, not a me problem. You know? Now,
Yeah.
I don't have to be overtly mean or negative or like try and be aggressive towards someone. But the whole like microaggression or unconscious bias, like get the fuck away from me with that stuff. Like you don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It gets me
Well,
really
I think what it is like if it comes from a place of hate, then there's a big difference.
Who do you know that genuinely comes from a place of
That's
hate?
what I'm saying. But I can understand using words with intention behind them and those words being bad. And those are usually like the original creation of the word. But if you use the word and, I'm not saying it's okay to use words because I believe words are just words, but I also and I don't feel them, but I understand other people do. And so
I'm
sensitive to it for that reason.
Right.
And, sometimes I slip because I don't feel it personally if somebody says a word, unless they're literally telling me like something.
Wait, you mean you're human? You slip sometimes? You're not perfect 100% of the time? It's crazy. Shocking. Next, get this guy out of here. No,
I know, not interesting.
I love it. No, I listen, I
think filmmaking also, not to interrupt.
No, you're right.
It's such a thing about filmmaking is you're just in this, and this is why I love it, like just group of people who like sort of don't fit in anywhere else, but like can get together and like make this like little circus team and be very good at like this one thing. And then it just like kind of, as soon as the project's over, it's funny, it's not like you lose like touch, but you're so in communication and tuned in to your team when you're making a project that when it stops, it feels like all your friends are gone.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree.
But the whole reason why I was saying that actually was because of, different people.
And being offensive.
Yeah, but I feel like New England is good about that. Like New England has thick skin.
I don't think you have much of a choice but to like suck it up. You know what I mean? Like you gotta, here in New England, I'm saying.
Yeah.
And like I've lived in LA and I've dealt with that. Not really my style. I'm very like into indie film. I think that's like the real art form.
Definitely.
Where like
it's not formulaic.
Yeah, but like I feel like once you get to a certain level, like you just said, you're not in this to make money, but if someone called you and said, "Hey, we're going to give you $65 million to make this picture," I don't think you're going to necessarily turn it down. I wouldn't turn it down. The problem is, at least in my opinion, and this is why I love being where I'm at. Like it's such a weird dynamic because you have to, like, if I had a million followers or whatever it was, I feel like I would still be the same, but you never know.
You never know until you're there, yeah.
And once you get to a certain point of filmmaking or, budget, I would say, like the people that surround you become different and they start being yes people and you're amazing and like all that kind of stuff. And so you never really know. It's horrible. Yeah. Oh my God, it's horrible. And like, not that I want people to only say negative things about the movies I make, but at the same time, it's like, whether they're positive or negative, at least they're saying something about it. You know what I mean? At least they're taking it in and like
there's so much to talk about these days.
Oh, I know.
If that's on their mind,
right,
then you did your job. People don't have 100%. To like it.
I like what you said about the misfits and outcasts being in film because, like, it's just a cool thing to be in a position where, I'm a weirdo too. Like I like to dress up, but there's no like obligation.
We're all weirdos if we're playing like the way we play. Like, dude, I see like photos of me on set sometimes and I'm like on the floor, like just doing things that are just total like kid in me. That's just coming out from just the creative energy.
Yeah,
I think that's what you get is you get a bunch of young people. Like, doesn't matter your age, but everybody's young at heart on a film set.
Yeah, and it is cool. Like, there's definitely cliques and stuff. Like gear people or like actors or whatever it is. But generally speaking, you can all kind of come together. And like I was saying, in school, when they call me the mayor or whatever, it's because I was always talking to somebody, but it was always somebody different. And then you'd have these like cliques of 3, 5, 10 people that always hung out together. And I would be like a passerby that was friends with all of them.
I was the exact same way.
But I never like fit in with any one particular group of people or type. Which is, I think, part of the reason I'm not offended by anything, because I've heard it from every single, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then...
from all the sides.
Yeah. And then you get into like film, and there's an ass for every seat. Like there is like, or a seat for every ass, I should say. Like there's a spot where you can like either be in front of the camera, behind the camera, you can do sound, you can do anything that, you could be building sets. It's the one industry in the world where no matter what your background is, there's a place for you on set.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's medical. Like there's always a place for you on a film set. And it's kind of cool. Like it has that like Cheers vibe to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, where everybody knows your name.
Departments are small.
Yeah.
And so you're basically like running a small little town.
A small business within a town.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
For like a short period of time.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's anybody who says like, you know, a film set isn't an emotional place, like then I feel like they're not making the right movie.
I've cried. I've made people cry.
It should be.
It's not fun. You know?
Should be like you should be at your most vulnerable to create your best work.
Well, I feel like they talk about that with regard to actors a lot.
Yeah,
like
and I think it should be in everybody on the set.
It's everybody.
Because as soon as you have an ego and you think that you know something and you're not willing to explore, that's as soon as like cliches come into play. Or
to me, that's when you stop learning.
And you stop learning, of course.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's so
as soon as you think you know, like you're done. You know?
It's so funny. So like filmmaking is just a visual form of storytelling, right? Vape away, please. Vape it up. Fuck it. Do the whole thing. I don't care. That's not the point.
This backlight.
Yeah. Oh, it's very nice. Yeah. It's nice. It's a good, yeah.
Little Atmos.
Love it. Gotta love it. Get the hazer. I don't, but I love it because it is where are we going with this? Vulnerability, filmmaking. I'm all over the place. Sorry, it's been a long day.
No, it's all right. But I got a funny story about the vape.
Tell me about the vape.
So the vape is like my next project I'm doing.
I'm listening.
And
like you got hired by a vape company?
No, but I picked up vaping.
What?
Isn't that fucking hilarious? Yeah.
Dude, at Masco, I was smoking. Sorry, it's the truth. I was smoking cigarettes at lunch, and the outside. You know where the outside is, where the seniors park the cars. Yeah, dude, we were on the hill smoking cigarettes. I was pack a day forever. Picked up one of these in 2018. Never went back.
That's funny. No, never. I mean, I smoked cigarettes like in college and shit, but I wasn't big into it. But no, I
had no choice. I was like addict, total addict.
That's so funny. Yeah. No. I picked this up.
What? Okay.
Isn't that hilarious?
So what do you mean?
Because
your next project? Explain.
So it's like all about the camera's attached to a vape, and it's like a vape perspective of a home invasion. And so the entire time, yeah, exactly. So like the entire time, like the camera is like just fixed on this. You know, like how sometimes there's like a first person point of view movie. So this would just be like a vape point of view thing during this like horrific home invasion. The short, yeah.
Okay, I was like that for 2 hours could be a lot, but that's
no,
good.
It's 4 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Very
it's tight.
During a home invasion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Something that's attracted to this.
That's cool.
Yeah. So anyways, I picked this up because I'm like, well, I got to see how this thing works. I got to see
That's a great reason to get addicted to
I got to
something.
see how the character is going to be smoking this realistically.
Right.
I got to see, what it looks like when I got to hide it. Like there's all these things that like come into play that if I'm not doing that, then it's going to be cliche. Like I'm going to think I know how this thing works and how someone uses it when I have no personal experience.
Don't vape, don't smoke, and drink responsibly. Now I can say whatever I was going to say, which is I love smoking. If I had it my way, it would be 1965 in this office. Right now we have ashtrays everywhere. I think it's amazing. I love it. I'm a big cigar guy. I love
same. Just the process of it. Sometimes I just don't want to feel anything. Yeah, and I smoke like a ton of weed.
Yeah.
But sometimes,
I dabble.
Yeah, but the only thing is sometimes I just don't want to be high, but I just want to smoke.
Yes.
And so that's the issue that I have.
It's calming, relaxing.
Just the process of like, I feel like it makes you control your breath.
Interesting.
It slows you down where I'm always operating at I know it's so bad. This feels like an ad, but I swear I'm just being genuine.
Yeah, no,
it like slows me down to be able to just like, oh, that was like cool. I just had a moment. And I like being by myself. Like I like separation. I'm very good in a mix of people, but I need like space and separation before I can go back and do the thing.
Honestly, I'm the same way. I always feel
I
like
think that's most smokers.
I always feel like I have to be like on. And then you should see me like at the end of the day, which you never will because if you were there, then I'd still feel like I'm on. And it's nothing against you or anybody else, but just inside, like I'm all cortisol through the roof.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Well, talking to people takes a lot of energy.
Yeah. And then you get home and you relax and like you just melt away. You're like, oh, I'm so done.
I can't do that.
I don't choose it. It's just how I am.
I know. I like have to I almost create like another project for myself. Like I hate
Oh, interesting.
I hate not having something to do or something to work on. Like I feel like my mind just goes crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess that's interesting that you put it that way. Like you have to create a project.
Mm-hmm.
My mind thinks everything is a project. You know?
So it's you're just doing the same thing.
Kind of. Yeah, I would say so. Uncontrollably.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you're like choosing.
Yeah,
Like,
and if
okay,
I
we
don't
gotta-
have something to do, I'm like, what is the worst thing I can get into right now?
Yeah, that'd be bad. That's funny. All right, so filmmaking. So then, after you left college, after you graduated,
Yep.
and then after graduation, you were like, "I'm gonna be a filmmaker."
Yeah, pretty much.
That's cool.
No, I got a job at a restaurant. Actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was like kind of an untraditional route. Like instead of going
Yeah,
like
okay.
the direction of like starting as a PA and working your way up, like I
Yeah.
I couldn't see myself like just with my personality
Mm-hmm.
being in there like taking orders from people. Like I had to kind of be creating, like we're talking about right now. I had to create projects. So I I was working in this restaurant, I was just making like spec commercials and talking
For the restaurant or just in general?
just in general. Like
Okay.
through people I would talk to from serving at the restaurants to people who I knew who already had connections to own businesses. I would just kind of reach out and try to create stuff to be able to have work that, could get me
Okay,
more
so
work.
when you left college, you wanted to be in film.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
this was like on the way.
Yeah. I mean, the restaurant allowed me the flexibility to still make money while also doing this other stuff.
When did you decide that film was the route to go?
Second year at Bryant when
Okay,
I transferred to BU.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I was in that class with, that was like all the seniors like just fucking off in, the film 101 class. And I was like, picked up a camera, felt familiar, made like a little, like whatever the project was.
Yeah.
Thought it was great. Was doing like snap zooms and stuff. It was on tape. It was fun.
Sick.
Yeah, just
Love
like
that.
I just had a lot of fun with it. And I was like, holy shit, this is what I need to do. And then it was like present time. And all the other films were terrible. And not that this was a film, but at least like it was paced, it was shot, you understood what it was doing.
Yeah.
It had purpose and intention. And so then I was like, okay, what's the best film school I can get into like right now? Because
The transfer, because I'm not doing business.
Exactly.
And if I'm doing business, it'll be the film business.
Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Okay.
so I was like, I really want to be you. And I was like interested in not Emerson.
That's where I
Northeastern.
almost went.
You went to Emerson?
No, I didn't go at all. But I was gonna go. I toured Emerson.
I didn't. Yeah, me too. And I was just like, these. I don't connect with these people. They feel
Yeah.
like I just whatever class it was, whatever I saw, I was
Yeah.
like, I don't see myself fitting in here.
Yeah.
And then BU, I felt like people were less like, I don't know, artsy is the word, and more just like,
Yeah, they are. I mean,
and
that's
just-
how I felt when I went to Emerson. I was like,
yeah.
all right.
And
All
no
right.
offense to Emerson people. I mean, they're
The school
great.
itself is
Yeah.
beautiful, and I work with and do a
I just went
podcast
to
every
I
week.
went to Masco, and so
Yeah.
like
Okay, yeah.
it
So
was I was
you're
kind of like, this is too much.
Where's the dirt bikes?
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
BU had
Yeah.
like what I liked about BU is like I was big into like just at Bryant. It felt like high school because it was the same type of people like on
Yeah.
the smaller campus, and nobody was creating, nobody was creative. Like those are the conversations I wanted to be having, and nobody was like really in the mindset to have them.
Yeah, like you made the film, and people were like, "Oh, that was really cool." Okay, so now let's look at the spreadsheet.
Or just even,
Like-
getting drinks with people and
Oh,
stuff.
okay,
Like
yeah, yeah.
we're talking about like the Bryant basketball team and like the Bryant final. I'm like, I don't give a shit about those people.
Yeah,
like-
no, I know, yeah.
And so I had friends from like there, but it just, I wasn't,
They're not film friends.
no, I had a great freshman year of just partying and having fun and being like college, woo.
Yep.
And then after that, I was like, okay, actually though, this, like, what am I doing?
Yeah, that makes sense. That's funny. That's good stuff. Okay, so then what was that like? So after, did you want to work at a?
I had no idea.
I feel like a lot of people who get into film, at least out here,
I had no idea. All I knew was that
did you want to do like freelance work? Did you want to like, because you,
I
you
didn't-
said you went right to businesses doing spec commercials.
we're talking about when I graduated school or when I
Yeah.
transferred to BU.
Oh, we can talk about that too. But I was thinking about after school.
Okay. Let me think about what makes
This
most
is the
sense.
craziest conversation, and he totally threw me off with the whole he went to Masco thing before. because I just went total ADD and I'm all over the place.
No,
Normally
it's
I'm
good.
very structured.
All right, we'll bring it back to
Don't
BU.
watch
I'll
my
make
show.
the BU experience quick.
Well, you don't have to, dude. Stay all day. I don't care. But go
No,
ahead.
well, you got another thing coming on.
Fuck them. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We'll tell
I
'em.
love my clients. Go ahead. Go ahead. So you have you were at BU.
So yeah, I took my
transferred.
first class. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to direct. I didn't know if I wanted to shoot. Didn't know if I wanted to edit. I was thinking to edit, like just be an editor.
Was it a cool like? Did you feel fulfilled and satisfied when you started talking to people and they were like, "Yeah, I love that movie"?
Well,
They,
no,
like, got
no.
into
So
it?
listen to this.
Oh,
So
okay,
like
go.
the first class that I take is understanding film, and it was like watching these like boring movies, and it was a
German expressionism.
it just like stuff that like I would never put on and watch. Like I think is important to understand, but also
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a certain type of filmmaker that like I appreciate the classics, but I'm not looking to put on a classic movie.
What do you consider a classic movie?
Like Casablanca.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I like those.
They're great, but I just put so many other things first.
Yeah, that's
There's
fair.
too much content out there. There's too much new stuff.
I feel like it's like film now to me. The way I look at it is like if you're like a wine drinker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you like have a certain bottle that you pick out, and you have a little bit, and you put the cork back, you put it back in the rack.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a classic, but it could also be like a Django Unchained, or it could be like a something else that you pull down. It's like whatever you're in the mood for.
Do you know what I miss? I miss TV back in the day because TV you had
in
less.
what way?
You had less options, and so
What's back in the day though? Like
I guess
when
like
we were
growing up,
kids?
like
Okay.
going like when I was in school, when you were in school, where it wasn't all streaming services. It was
You had to have commercials.
there were like 60 channels, and so when you went to school the next day,
Everybody watched the same thing.
everybody watched the same thing, so you all had something to talk about, which I think is a big problem nowadays because now you go into a room and you can't talk like unless you're watching like the one thing that everybody is watching. There's always one thing.
Mm-hmm.
The chances of you watching the same thing as like other people, I feel like is very slim.
Yeah,
I
that's fair.
would honestly like to see the percentages of it. Like, what are the chances with all the content out there, all of the things that people are clicking on, that you are watching the same show as somebody else?
That's interesting. I like that. But that's also it's part of the reason that I'm so like into this film community here because out in New England it's so like tight knit. Kinda everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
When I went to your Instagram profile, it's like mutual followers, like all of my followers, like everybody. It's like
great.
it's just that everybody's
Yeah.
which is really cool. And it helps to have stuff like this. Because then, at least in my opinion, I'm not like so great, but I'm saying it's an avenue for. I would like this show to be an avenue for other filmmakers to come on and like learn about other filmmakers.
Yeah,
like if
absolutely.
somebody wanted to work with you moving forward, now they can get a vibe of you prior to meeting you potentially.
They know I'm gonna say some bad shit.
Maybe, but like but I don't know. I
I'm
think
kidding.
I would like to have somebody who's super uptight on this show because they would just it's gonna get posted regardless.
Yep.
So, but they don't. They don't. Some people are just like, no, I don't know, which is fine. I don't know. So you were BU. You liked film. You leave. You did a job at a restaurant.
So I went into this class, the understanding film class.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
and
Thank you for getting me back.
Yeah, no worries. I get the same disease.
Yeah, it is.
But okay, so in this class, these kids are like raising their hands, like talking about the movie in a language I've never heard. I'm like, oh fuck, like I am so behind. Like, did I just like really like mess up? Did I have this whole idea that I'd be good at this because I was in a class of like people who weren't trying? Did I have this like false expectation? I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like had nothing to say about these things that were like profound. I understood them, but I wasn't like thinking about them the way these kids were thinking about them.
I always, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm so right in the same vibe as that. Like I always felt so dumb. Like
Dumb. Like what? What did you see?
Like I grew up. Now I never made films with my friends. My stuff was always like when I was a kid and I was so super obsessed and wanted to do this for a living. It was always starring my brother and sister.
That's funny.
Always. And it was almost like this secret. Like I was like embarrassed to, because nobody, as you know, like where we grew up this area, like nobody's into film. Like there's not like a big film people at Masco. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like this thing that I do for me, you know? And then you go and talk to filmmakers and they're like, oh, well, I mean, you know of the whatever the fucking movie is that's like, you know, in another language that, you know, and you're like, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
I like making movies because I like telling stories and I like things that look
exactly
cool.
right. And so I went from like, oh shit. And then the next semester was production 101, which was actually like you make stuff.
That's sick.
And then all of these like people who are like, oh my God, like these people know so much. Like they go to like make a movie and it just falls apart. It's, you know, complete ass. Mm-hmm. And like the first thing I made was this like horror film and people were just like,
oh shit.
They were just like, that was horrible. Like that was like, and like,
oh really?
Like it was like split. It was, I'd say three, everybody knew it was good, but a lot of people had like,
everybody knew it was good.
A lot of people had like issues with like the material, like, you know, all the other films.
That's the part of it that I'm done. I hate that. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
In a good way. Like they were, you know, it was about this like military guy who is in this like therapy session. He's got PTSD, and we think and he's having these flashbacks, and we assume because he's like American that, you know, he had something horrible happen to him, but he was the one doing the horrible thing.
So his PTSD is revolving around how monstrous he could be.
Exactly.
That's kind of sick. Actually.
And you know, there's no dialogue that says like, you know, he's American. He just has like, he's just obviously an American. And so we just make that quick judgment as an audience, good guy.
Right.
You know, bad thing happened to him.
Right. Well, if they have a British accent, then they're bad guy Russian.
And so people had problems about like, what are you trying to say about like, you know, like American soldiers or whatever. And I'm like,
yeah, I can see that.
And I'm like, good. Like,
have an opinion.
Yeah. And because all the other films were
propaganda.
No, they were just like, they were like, I think that maybe the lighting in that scene like was a little like it was all, they were all.
Yeah, but with you, they're talking about the story.
They were technical issues with the films, and the films like didn't work because of technical issues. They had no story, or the story wasn't like, you know, on screen, where mine like was very clear, and some people were upset. There was like really just two people who were like challenging it, which was like.
They had blue hair.
Yeah, and then like the teacher was like, hey, stay after class, like after this, and he was like, that's really good, like that, like people like were upset with your thing. Like
I love that.
He's like, don't like take that the wrong way. Like he's like, that's because like yours was the only one that actually like provoked any emotion.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah.
So that was like a cool experience. I was like, okay, cool. I gotta like, I like, what do I like to do? What am I good at? I'm good at like disrupting classes. Like, you know what I mean? I was very good at disrupting classes. Teachers still loved me. But I knew,
Same.
You know, I was just that guy who would do things in
You're
class.
a goof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to entertain. You know, I always just wanted to like entertain, especially in a boring situation. Mm-hmm. The more boring the class, the more I would have to entertain.
The worse you were.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And then like, you know, the ones that were good classes, like I didn't feel the need to. I was like, oh, great. My attention is on the teacher. And there were a few.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool.
But anyways, after that, I was like, okay, so disrupting, you know, I did a lot of technical things. Like I had blood in this movie. Like I did like some gags.
In the college film?
Yeah, in the college film. Wow. Like, and people were just not expecting to see it because it was, you know, what you're looking at is you're looking at people walking down like Comm Ave on campus, you know, as like a short. Mm-hmm. And so mine's in like a basement and like an office. Believing like, you know, looking like it's a real thing.
Yeah, why wouldn't you do that? Like
that's what I was saying. I was like, wow, you guys are just limiting yourself to like your dorm room.
Well, so like, okay, I don't know if you ever took like digital photo in Masco.
Yeah, I did.
With Joe Yuckins?
Yes.
I sold him a car. He's a great guy. It was always so dumb when he would give assignment. Love you, Joe. You're not dumb. The kids were. The kids would like have like you'd have an assignment of like X amount of pictures to take, and they would take them in the hallway.
Yeah. No effort.
And you go, okay, whatever. And then I would see like people who wanted to intern for me here or whatever, and they'd be sending me their college films, and half of them were filmed in the school.
Yeah.
And I'm going, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
You're given a camera, you're given a team of people, you can do anything.
But you're also in college, you're 18 and over. Go rent a car, go do something.
Yeah.
Like, go do something. Why else are you spending $400,000 on a film degree or whatever the hell it is? Like, oh my God, go
I think
go make something.
It just tells you about the person as.
But I feel like they create this culture, film school, of like, this is the hub of where films can be made. You know what I mean? They foster that culture
But
there
what you
too.
can't. But you can't.
They're not saying take my Arri Alexa and go off and make a movie somewhere.
But what they don't do is like you can't teach like the personality of being somebody who's like, this is the assignment. Like my box is like the world, or not really the world, but like,
Or I don't have a box at all.
You have to be creative with like resources as a filmmaker. And so if your resources are limited to, like, you could be, there's so many more people who are like talented than who get credit for, but if they aren't able to pull together resources to put together a vision of something that like people are going to want to see, it doesn't matter. And so it's not like just about being a great artist. It's being a good salesperson, you know, being like just being creative with what you have as material and then using that to build something that is going to be interesting.
I was going to say, I agree with you. I was going to say you have to have a certain lack of fear. But I don't even know if that's correct.
No, it definitely is. It definitely is. And I think like the more films I make, sometimes I look back on like projects I did before and I'm like, I would never do that now. Like I would never write
because
that.
you've now like
I
boxed
know
yourself
what
in.
that. Yeah, exactly. But in the moment, and I always try to do something in every project I do that scares me, like that I don't know how to do, because that's when you start pushing and you're like, sometimes it doesn't work, and that's okay. Like you have to be okay with like, I don't know if this is gonna work or not. I believe it, and then do it, and then you have another tool in your toolbox, and then you push. You know, you always have that available to you in your filmmaking lifetime. Of something that you've done that you're only going to know how to do if you get experience doing it. And it's never going to be something where you're like, oh, I feel comfortable doing it, because you haven't done the thing. So if you're just, and I think that's what I want to see more in New England films, are films that are doing things that are like scary and that you see on screen, you're like, holy shit, they did that.
Yeah.
Because that's like, when I go to the film festivals and I'm like seeing the LA and New York films, that's what they all have. And I think that's what you need to stand out these days, because there's so much content that if you're just doing like normal, then even if it's really good normal, if it doesn't have like a thing, I don't know. It's
no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think it's I think it's like on multiple different levels. People are afraid to tell stories because they don't want to offend people, and so the story itself either like never gets told. I think that the younger you are, if you're like, they're teaching you have a shot list, have a you know what I mean?
That's
they're
exactly
trying
right.
to give you
That's what I was gonna
rules and
say.
box you in.
Yes.
And so I am absolutely the kind of person, and I've said this a million times, but it's the truth. I'm the kind of person where I'm like, no, just duct tape the camera to the ceiling. Like, we can use a stick to press record. Like, just do it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
find a creative way on the spot to make something work.
I would say the most encouraging thing that you could say to a person like me is, oh no, we can't do that.
Same.
And I'm like,
I'm the exact same way.
first I'm going to throw you out the window, and then secondly, we're going to get it done. You know, like, that's how I am.
And I can't wait for you to see it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Please, like, tell me it's not possible, and that's what will happen. So that's kind of how I have always operated. I've always felt like I've had all the cards, stacked against me, because I wasn't a good student, or I was, whatever. And I've always been very successful, and it's extremely tiring to be constantly working, and like, you know what I mean? But I have no choice, because there's no sequel. You only get 80 years. So you got to make it work.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I'm enjoying the ride, which is really fun, and I hope you are too.
Oh yeah, I have a blast.
What was the first, so you made some spec stuff out of school. And now you're full-time filmmaker, right?
Yep.
Not like, full-time filmmaker, but
so
you're a full-time filmmaker.
Yeah. I mean, I make a living as a cinematographer.
Oh, okay. I
am trying to be a feature film director. That's like kind of That's the goal.
Okay, I'm not trying to Dr. Phil you, but why are you not? Like, why are you trying? What steps have you not taken in your own life to make a feature film?
Well, I mean, for one, obviously, money is a thing.
Why?
Because money is, I don't have 500,000, unfortunately.
What kind of film are you trying to make?
That's just like the way I think. I mean, I'm trying to taper
My
down
God,
my thinking.
now you're starting to sound like a film student. Like,
No.
what?
I think
500,000.
500K is like paying everybody to
Dude.
make your film and actually having like a decent looking film.
See, that's one thing I've never understood. We're all a community of artists. I do so much free work, and I show up to sets for free all the time. And like, because I genuinely love doing this, and I'm not suggesting that everybody work for free, but I'm saying, like, if you have like a bunch of friends, like, what friend is going to call you and be like, yeah, my day rate's $650?
Well, that's
like,
for
bro,
sure.
What?
But
what
the
are
thing
you talking about?
For shorts, that's what I've gotten in the past. Like people
sure.
will do the favors. It's hard to ask for like 30 days to get favors out of people because obviously people need to like make a living.
Do it like Nolan. Shoot it on the weekends. Dude, Quentin Tarantino was going to make, what's it called? Reservoir Dogs for 50 grand. Like, you don't need 500,000.
Maybe not.
Come on, call in favors. Tell them you're a film student. You just started late. Or you have great genes, you grew a beard. I don't know. Like, fucking, what's the difference? Or call me and I'll get it all done for free.
I want to do it right. I want to do.
Why is it? Okay, that's interesting. Not an argument, just to pick your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you feel like it's not being done right if you don't spend a lot of money?
Because of the concepts in the worlds, like the stories that I want to tell.
Okay, I mean, if you're making Harry Potter.
No, not even that.
Do you know what I mean, though?
But like fantasy, like I like horror fantasy, and so with horror fantasy comes a lot of production design. It comes that's specificity and locations. Like I think, basically, my plan is to go around to the festivals next year with my latest film that is in the mix right now.
Which is it out? Like,
no, it's in a mix. Yeah, it's called Gimme.
Oh, okay.
So
you're gonna go to festivals.
So I'm gonna go to festivals. Hopefully, I mean, could just like not get in anywhere and just completely bomb. You never know. But
put it out on YouTube.
Yep. I mean, if it comes down to that. Sure.
Oh yeah, like if you got in nowhere, you know what I mean. Like there's always an avenue. But go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I want to try to get that concept made into a feature. For what that concept is going to cost is going to be like ballpark around that. That being said, if I don't get a deal next year, or at least like, find some money or some promise that like this is something that I can actually make happen, have two other concepts, one that's going to be like a 250K thing and one that's going to be like a 75K thing of just like, I'm not waiting anymore. But I do want to give myself the fair shot. I mean, I just started like making, like the first narrative I made was in 2022 and I went around in like 2023 and that just got picked up on Screenbox, so that got distribution as a short, which is relatively hard to do.
Yeah.
So
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Cool. So by having that, and I made another short last year called Katie's Skin, and then my new one, I think 3 shorts is reasonable to ask for the type of money that I want to ask for if the success is.
Who are you asking?
There's like studios and distributors. Like there's a lot of indie distributors who go to these film festivals.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Outside of New England. It's like New England isn't a thing for like making deals, but New England is a place for creating and like harboring artists. I think that's what's like really changing right now in like the landscape of filmmaking. Is it used to be like LA, you had to be in LA to like be a filmmaker, and well past that due time, people were like getting good in New England and then moving to LA only to like move back later
to shoot everything here.
Because like the resources here are going to be better. Like people are, like you're saying, down to do favors. Like they're down to play ball. People want to make my $500,000 movie will look like a
$6 million movie
if done right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, exactly. You will. And that's the thing is like I've met so many people. That's the difference. Because in LA, people are. I just feel like they're always looking for the next best thing. No matter what, even like on a set,
people are so used to that like lifestyle that it's not exciting. Where you get genuine excitement out of people from New England coming together to create.
You get genuine everything out of people from New England. If they hate it, they'll tell you. Which is good. But you're right. It's like when someone's like on board with you, they're like, dude, we're doing this. Yeah. Like you might want to give up, and your crew's like, dude, we gotta keep. Like that's nice. It's nice. Whereas in LA, they're like, yeah, okay, they say they're out of money. Let's go home. Like they're done. Yeah. And I get it, but it's I just love New England.
People
I love
support
this
each other
place.
here.
Yeah, it's really cool. We have a really, really cool community. And
That's why I want to make my first feature here.
yeah, I'm making one next year, hopefully.
Nice, man.
Yeah, as long as my writer gets writing. And,
Oh,
yeah.
it hasn't started?
Well, we have 15 pages in.
Oh, that's great.
See how it goes. Yeah. Out of
15-minute movie?
no, out of like 75. We're working on it. But there's like
As
a
long
lot
as you've
of, lot
done
of
the
moving
outline and the beats, like all of that stuff takes the longest. I feel like if you've done the time to create the characters and do all of that work, the story, like the script portion of the story should kind of write itself.
Yeah. I have a lot of aspirations. Like
Are you going to direct it or produce it?
No, produce it.
Nice.
I might co-direct it. I might like Coen Brothers it with a buddy of mine.
Cool.
Yeah. We're working. It's very early stuff. Plus, I have so much.
Would you like self-invest or?
Oh yeah,
Nice.
I pay for everything.
Yeah, same.
And if I can't pay for it, I'll still get it done. Like I'm that kind of person. Whatever we got to do, we're gonna make it work. If I got to date somebody's, like, you know what I mean, whatever. Like whatever it's got to happen. Like we're gonna make it work.
Sure.
And I have a lot of aspirations, some of which we can talk about off air because I don't want to burn bridges or anything like that. But like I have a lot of aspirations to bring a lot of the business side of film to New England. You know what I mean? And have Boston or this area at least become more of a hub, like to accentuate the artists that are here.
Yeah, do you know that all that needs to happen for that is people need to stay in New England and be making the stuff in New England.
They need a reason to stay though.
Right, which is
hopefully I'm going to help with that. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Being a reason. You know what I mean?
That'd be great.
Yeah, but that's what I'm looking for because I totally
So you're
agree
saying
with
bringing
you.
money to the town, or
It's not just money. I want better. I want more of everything. I want more focus on film. You know what I mean? I want more, like, if we could do the Oscars out here, that would be better. Even if it started as a New England version of that. Does that make sense? We need better publicity. We need better, more stuff. There's tons of stuff happening. Like movies, as you know, like they get made here.
Yeah.
You know,
but not by filmmakers from here. A lot of them.
Correct. Right. Everything gets done out there. So
that's
by
what I'm saying.
producing and by creating things and creating content and avenues and ways to kind of build up the community and give people hope and a reason to stay, and realizing that, like, all you need, if you really need to work with an executive in LA, you can hop on a Zoom call. You don't have to live out there and like pick up your entire life. All of those things are things that over the next decade, by the time I'm 40, if I'm still alive,
Live free,
yeah,
live fast, die young. Yeah.
Exactly. But people think I'm crazy because I talk about things and I look at the world in my own way, and everything is larger than life. Like I said, we do another podcast on my channel that's more like reviewing Hollywood movies and industry stuff, and we were shitting on the Oscars because it's horrendous. And what's it called? I was like, yeah, forget this. I was like, I'm gonna do the Willies, and then I'm like, I'll do it at the Wilbur Theater. Like, I don't care. Like, let's keep going. Like, let's just continue making things as big as humanly possible, because the only way that you're gonna get, noticed or break through anything is by making a big splash.
Yep.
That's
what I was talking about before.
Yeah, I love it. So it's a huge thing for me. Speaking of, this news just dropped today. I don't know if you saw my story on Instagram or not, but there's a new rule for the Academy Awards.
What's
that?
that?
The people who are voting on the movies are now officially actually required to watch the movies before they vote.
Oh, wow.
That's new as of now. It's like the 98th annual Academy Awards, and now they are required to watch the movies.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it just boils my blood to the nth degree. Like, it's so crazy because it's just not about
where's the honesty?
It's not about the art at all.
No.
It never is about the art at all. And it's so frustrating to me. The fact that, like,
at least festivals aren't, I would say festivals aren't necessarily all about the art. But because that's all that is.
They
like,
are or they're not?
not.
Okay, go ahead.
Like I think festivals are all about like,
Schmoozing.
yes, it's not about the art on screen. It's about the artist in the room with the festival.
Okay.
I mean, obviously there needs to be good art on screen, but I think it's more like a good festival, like programs like a good block of filmmakers who are a certain type of people, have a certain type of taste, and then bringing those people together is like what gets people to go to the festivals, knowing that they're going to watch things that they like, that they connect with, that most likely were being created by someone like them. And so I feel like festivals, the Academy Awards is just a big film festival. It's like the biggest film festival in the world.
Yeah, awards show. Like bigger, it's like Sundance would be a big film festival.
Yeah, I guess they don't
right?
like stream the films at the Academy Awards, but those are
Yeah.
just films that at that point
Yeah, their
have
festival
already
is
been
all year long in all the theaters across America. That's,
exactly
or all over the world.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, I just that whole Star Wars is a good example just because they've beaten the crap out of that franchise. Like that IP is nothing anymore, and the Avengers is another one. But for me, it's like why do we need to have a single central location where films get made?
Yeah.
Like why can't it be?
Do you think it is that way anymore?
Definitely not as much, and definitely not since COVID. And between COVID and the strikes,
I
and
would
all
say,
of
really
the crap,
killed it.
it's just like thank God it happened because like there wouldn't be as much of an initiative to like kind of push us out here or like in Georgia or any of these other places where they're really succeeding with film. But yeah, it's like they just let them shoot themselves in the foot, I guess, over and over again till they have no feet left.
Yeah. I mean, I love being at these festivals with everybody from New York and LA being like, they're like, where are you? Like, they just assume New York and it's like Boston. They're like, what?
Yeah.
Because there's only like 5 other people who I know who like go to these other festivals because I see them there. And it's just, there's not a lot of people from Boston representing Boston. And so my theory is the reason why Boston hasn't grown yet is because people don't stay here once they're doing good work. Down to actors, down to the producers, down to the filmmaker themselves, they go other places. And so Boston is just a place to shoot your movie. It can't be a place without the artists. You know what I mean? Like, so what I want to see in New England is like more people pushing past New England with where they set their bar and set their bar at like LA, New York, or Toronto, or Europe, of course. But I think that's kind of what needs to happen in my mind for New England is everybody like supports each other a lot here, but I don't know if people push a lot.
Nobody pushes.
I was trying to be nice.
No, fuck me.
Everybody wants to celebrate the work, and they don't want to do the hard work.
Okay, so I feel like part of the reason for that is because,
and I'm not saying you. I actually haven't seen your movies, so you might be an exception.
I think that part of it is like the Oscars, and what I mean by that is, right now there's only one Oscars, and it's in LA. And all the people who go there also live in LA. I'm sure they have a second or third home in New York. But like you come here, you make your movie, and then you have to go somewhere else. Like even if Ben Affleck or whatever, who's a very Boston kind of person, right? I'm just using a famous example. If he wins an Oscar, he can't accept his Oscar in Boston. He has to go to LA. And, which is fine. And I don't want the Oscars to come here. They should stay there. But there's only one Oscars. Like there's only one thing. Like that, you know what I mean? Like that's.
But like, what about like Sundance or Cannes? Like I feel like those.
Right, but they're not. Yes, I agree with you. But they're only for a week or whatever. And I think that there's not a lot of push, unfortunately, for the general public to go to film festivals. It's all artists. Yeah. It's all film people. It's like
it's a convention for filmmakers.
But it shouldn't be. If anything, in my opinion, a film festival should be marketed to the general public.
I agree.
To like showcase,
which means the content,
like an art gallery.
Which means the content needs to be at that level.
I don't think it does. I don't think it does
For the
because, and
general
let me explain
public?
why. The general public watches shitty YouTube videos all day long. So like, why does the content need to be $60 million
Because
movies?
I think the tolerance level of quality on a big screen in a good theater is much lower than the tolerance level you have watching something on your phone.
That's a fair point, but at the same time, don't you think that that little bit of added pressure would kind of up the ante a little bit when it came to filmmakers?
Yes, but what the content has to come first. Like the content needs to be there for fans to enjoy.
Do you
Like
think?
yes, definitely. Like I'll bring
Why?
I'll give you an example. Like if I bring my friends to these film festivals
Okay.
who have no attachment to filmmaking, their
Okay.
tolerance level for the stuff is much lower than what you'd expect, and they watch TikTok and they do all that stuff. But
What are they expecting to see?
they're expecting what they see on streaming services.
I don't know, man.
I
you're
think
not. I
it's-
don't think you're necessarily wrong. I think that like if
People have to be groomed
interesting choice of words. I think that
to like
kidding.
you know what I'm saying.
I'm just kidding. Yes, yeah.
To consume
that'll be a
indie
clip. Yeah.
to consume indie content, I think people need.
I don't think that's true. Clerks, all these movies that came out that are indie films,
But that's different. That's different than like short films, like
but they're not always shorts. Like they have features at film festivals.
oh yeah, of course.
That's what I'm saying. Like the film. If the, this,
How many
this
New
is my
England
point.
features?
So maybe it's no. I get that, but I'm saying maybe if it's not like the festival itself is marketed to the general public to come in and watch a bunch of shorts. If the festivals were marketing like, I don't know, we're here for 2 weeks in this theater or a week or a weekend and we're showing this film, then it ups the ante of filmmakers who want to have that spot or
Yes.
those 3 spots.
Yes.
For the features, obviously the artist should still go.
Yeah.
But like right now, and I'm not gonna, I can bleep it. The one that we met at without me having to bleep anything. The festival that we met at is
terrible.
not. It's horrible.
Yes.
It is not.
It's
It is embarrassing to say that I'm from this like area.
I know.
Like I don't like
Have
that at
you
all.
been to Buff, Boston Underground Film Festival?
I have not.
Because that's legit.
Okay.
That was legit, dude. I like that one does market to the public because it's at the Brattle, and the Brattle has like a lot of people who go to the Brattle. They have 350 seats. Every single screening was sold out, and it was their opening night Wednesday was a Nick Cage movie that just came from Cannes and had its U.S. premiere at South by Southwest, and then had its like East Coast premiere at Buff. So that's like Wednesday night, opening night, like a feature film Nick Cage movie that's not in theaters. Like that's fucking what the film festivals need to do. And then they had like 4 films that were indie films like across the country that were all really good. And then they had a block of local shorts, and all the local shorts were really good. And then the international shorts were like really, really good. And so like all of that stuff, like that's a festival who's doing it right. But what they have is
There's
like,
no marketing.
they're sold out and they have lots of press. Like there was tons of articles about it.
Don't you think that like no, I get that, but you're also someone who would read those articles. I'm talking about the general Joe Schmo at home. Will go to the theater in LA. They're gonna watch the Oscars on NBC because it's on NBC or whatever. But like it's a thing. You know what I mean? Like they've made it. LA has made the industry a thing.
This is definitely more underground. Like you like small. You like small.
I don't think it
theater.
necessarily should be.
I agree.
You know, like we need to, and like some of these theaters they pick, like seeing my movie in IMAX it was very nice.
But it was also streamed from a laptop, and so it wasn't DCP quality.
No, it wasn't.
You
It
know?
absolutely wasn't. But it was cool to see it on an IMAX screen. You know,
Huge, yeah, it's cool.
That was cool.
Yeah.
It was 5 minutes.
But I was still just like, oh my god, if this was a DCP with like surround sound 5.1.
Oh yeah,
That's what I want. I want the IMAX screen, but I want the IMAX experience, you know?
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that needs to change. Unfortunately, we're a little out of time. I'm not kidding when I say I could talk to you for 6 more hours straight and just need to get up to use the restroom maybe once or twice.
I can come back.
But I would hope you do. I would love to talk to you more about more things and hear more about, life after BU.
Sure, yeah, we didn't even get there.
Yeah, I know. I want to hear about your films and
We
stuff
like
that you've
just
made.
got past Masco.
Yeah.
Unpacking a lot of
Yeah, dude.
Childhood trauma.
Which I didn't expect at all. Like the Masco thing was so out of left field.
How did we get to that? Oh, North Shore. Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm from the
No,
North
you
Shore.
said you're from Middleton.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, did you go to Masco? Yeah, that's funny. Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Stephen Schloss.
And an older sister, too.
That's cool. That's so cool. Well, it's good. And now it makes me feel so validated that another person from the area is like a filmmaker. You know what I mean?
And also hated Masco. I had the same experience.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what a waste. I could. Oh, my God. It's bad. Like and subscribe. Nick Williams shows every Monday, 5 p.m. And we got tons of stuff. Stephen, thank you for being here. And I really do hope you come back and
Thanks for having me.
talk more, man. I appreciate it.